Welcome back everyone, so Balls Deep! And this chapter of One Punch Man was fire! Saitama vs Garou, including its incidents, might be some of the most important ones we'll see in this series for a long time. The consequence of what happened in this chapter will be era-defining in the One Punch Man world. This chapter has revealed so much, from number 1, Garou becoming a god-level threat. Number 2, Saitama vs God being confirmed. Number 3, Blast reveals his Avenger buddies who are fighting against the said god. And most importantly, number 4, this dude looks like Boros. Is he his twin brother?
I'm confused right now, G.
Well, don't worry, because I know most of you have that notification bell on when you watched our 2-part series regarding Saitama vs God. We're here to make sense of everything, as it confirmed all of our community analysis. This chapter is titled The Abominable Fist That Turned Against God, and Garou did exactly that. The fight between Garou and Saitama carries on in this chapter as Garou tries to recover from his disadvantaged situation. Unable to hit Saitama, the hero hunter evolves into a 4-armed being to compensate for the lack of speed. It's so astonishing how Garou has broken his limiters in a way very different from Saitama, allowing him to even grow more arms. The difference between the two characters is that Garou broke his limiter constantly over and over to become stronger, while Saitama got rid of his limiters completely, meaning he doesn't even have one and is limitless. Therefore, Saitama doesn't have to constantly break the barriers like Garou does. But this chapter did prove that Garou surpassing his limits made him much stronger than most, if not all, heroes, as the story highlights through his character that only Saitama is stopping him from achieving his dreams of becoming the ultimate villain. Every single attribute that makes a hero, every single strategy, every single attack, and every way of winning a fight is useless in front of Saitama's limitless strength. Even though Saitama didn't face much problems against Garou's extreme power attack, it did however single-handedly change the way we look at Garou and the power scaling in the entire series as a whole. Honestly, I would even say that this is the first feat that is comparable, if not greater, to that of Boros kicking Saitama to the moon. Garou, now depending on his creativity and battle experience, he starts off by slamming Saitama into a nearby mountain, creating a huge hole as he goes right through the earth itself, literally reshaping Earth's crust. You guys think that's mad? Well, that's just the start, because Garou wanted to end it all. This attack pushed Saitama under the ground by at least multiple kilometers and very close to the mantle layer of the earth. Do you even understand how insane this is? The mantle of the earth is 20 kilometers from the crust, which would have taken an incredible amount of force to penetrate, an impact much greater than any bomb known to mankind. If you combined all the nukes and A-bombs and every single shit that you can think of, it wouldn't even come close into breaking the earth's crust to hit the mantle. On top of that, the mantle on touch is extremely hot. Although it's not magma, the boundaries to the crust of the mantle is around 1000 Celsius or 1832 Fahrenheit, you know, for you guys out there. But what I'm trying to say is that a regular human would have been burnt to death. Garou's attack on Saitama also resulted in the massive subduction of many tectonic plates. Subduction is a geological term for the process of one tectonic plate's edge falling below another. This often causes earthquakes and volcano eruption. Now, this is a very slow process, but what if someone did it instantly? The answer is, well, a catastrophe. But it doesn't even stop here, because Garou hit Saitama so hard that he caused a massive shift in the planet's magnetic and gravitational fields, causing a distortion in the space around Earth, making the planet to literally bulge from the opposite side of his attack. One Punch Man defines a god, a threat, as something that endangers the survival of humanity. Boros was technically one, but wasn't recognized by the world. However, Garou has clearly reached a similar level. In fact, this is one of the greatest feats any character that isn't Saitama has displayed in the One Punch Man series so far. He pushed the man hard enough to change the shape of a planet, like gosh damn. This attack was so powerful that the incident caught the eyes of Blast and his team of galactic Avengers. Blast and a female looking being checks the status of Earth and explains that this massive subduction is causing the Earth to bulge. Like the faces on these intergalactic beings says it all. Then another being who looks like a lion concludes that this must have been some natural occurrence since no Earthling should be able to do this, which confirms three things by the way. One is that these beings are not Earthlings, confirming our community's analysis regarding different dimensional and planet beings involved in One Punch Man. Number two, Garou is officially the strongest being on planet Earth if we are obviously excluding Saitama. Otherwise, why would the story make these galactic Avengers emphasize this? In that sense, he's truly a god level threat. Number three, this statement confirms that there are other beings who can make such a drastic change in a planet's structure, if not more. By this line man specifically stating no Earthlings, it infers non-Earthling intergalactic beings can do this. However, from this scene, you lot are probably scratching your heads, noticing something that we did too. This guy!
I'm confused right now, G.
The being who assumes that a certain someone has caused this incident is very identical to a character we all are acquainted with, Boros. Now there are actually two possibilities. Either he is Boros or someone from his race, likely his twin brother or some shit. If he is Boros, it would explain his cheeky grin when they bring up who could have done this. He knows that there is only one guy capable, Saitama. Let's not forget that Garou being able to do such damage was also because of Saitama's solid rock hard body. Wait, that sounded kind of sus. You know what I'm trying to say though, yeah? But how could this be Boros when we saw him actually turn to dust? Well, Blast has high speed travel powers, so he could have stopped Boros' death, healed him and made him join their squad somehow. However, this then brings the question, why is Boros hiding Saitama's existence? So, if it's not Boros, then it's someone within his race who became a good guy by joining Blast Avenger Squad against the god level threat. That Boros lookalike may be part of the same species as Boros, but unrelated besides that. It's confirmed in chapter 36 when Boros told Saitama that his species came from a volcanic harsh world that helped nurture them to possess immense strength and speed, along with self-healing powers. However, like Broly, Boros may have been a freak of nature where he's vastly stronger than anyone else in his species, but members of his species are still very formidable. I wouldn't be surprised if the Boros lookalike name drops what his people are called and elaborates on the defeat of Boros. But if you're wondering why they take a person who belongs to the same species as Boros, you have to remember that a single person can never truly represent a section of the society, and in this case a whole species. Even though Boros was evil, that doesn't mean his species as a whole was. This also justifies why a similar being looking like Boros would be in Blast's team of the Guardians of the Galaxy. As I explained, Boros' species is extremely strong. Whilst he's the leader, there should be a being who is somewhat comparable to his power level, hence becoming part of the Galaxy's saviors. Or it could be just a time loop thing or like a multiverse shit where there's a Boros from another timeline and this is the Boros. Who knows?
In an interview where one was questioned about who would win in a fight between Boros and Garou, one said it would be a good match. However, Garou is stronger in close combat. There is no denying that Garou is literally the strongest human in existence, only after Saitama. At his current level, even the whole of S-Class at their full strength won't be able to do anything against him. I highly doubt that Tatsumaki, the number 2 strongest hero, can do anything at his level now, especially without exhausting herself. Garou would have simply broken the dimensional seal if it wasn't for Saitama. Are we ignoring the fact that Garou survived a series of consecutive normal punches, the same shit that turned Boros to dust and almost breaking the planet in half? Garou's current feat is just insane. It's not comparable to anything that has happened on the series. Even though these punches brought him back to the surface and sent him cutting through a few mountains, Garou was still in pretty good condition. While he looks absolutely defeated and close to losing, that's simply because of his mental state. Garou realized that he was able to cause so much damage only because Saitama allowed him and even stopped him in his path when he wanted to. Now that he can't think of a way to defeat Saitama, his physical condition is weakening. The result hit Garou pretty hard, especially due to his realization that he isn't the abominable fist that was turned against God. It actually is Saitama. We think that this is how Garou's body works after breaking the limiter. If Garou had seen Saitama spit some blood out, we could have seen Garou grow even more, knowing that his attacks were finally working and it was actually doing something to Saitama. He actually had a chance, like a break in the armor type of thing. This fight is a testament to both Saitama and Garou's strength. Saitama is obviously invincible and Garou is the closest being to him on planet Earth. If it wasn't for Saitama, Garou would have accomplished his goal of becoming the absolute evil who could potentially unify the monsters and humans. As Garou continued to grow, we witnessed him even performing greater feats, giving Saitama one of his most entertaining fights. Garou managed to bend space with his punch, which could be seen as the greater feat compared to Saitama cutting through the Earth's atmosphere with his own punch. Yes, we know that Saitama threatened to destroy the planet like 3 chapters ago and he can do it with ease, but we're talking about established feats here, incidents that have already taken place, and in that, Garou surpassed everyone else. There's literally no way Garou could lose to anybody but Saitama and God right now. So coming back to the chapter, it looks like God has almost broken loose and Blast plus friends are trying to repair the seal holding him back. God might also be watching Saitama and Garou talk it out, but that final panel with Garou and Saitama sitting at the table is pretty funny. Then Blast announces that a bastard is going to break through the dimensional seal, which they have to prevent. Well, who might this bastard be? I wonder. Oh shit, it's Garou! Oh shit! Who would have thought? It's Garou. It's his punch. Let's take a look at the consequences caused by Garou's attack. Not just the consequences to the fabric of reality, but the whole planet Earth is going to experience a lot of natural disasters due to this, causing massive amounts of deaths and destruction. This attack reached the opposite side of the planet's crust, meaning the whole planet's tectonic plates have been violently shaken. Countless earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and tsunamis would be common on the planet. Furthermore, a new mountain would likely be formed on the other side due to this direct impact. This phenomenon has also led to a potential awakening of our neighbor residing on the moon, God. Blast and the others are trying to prevent the dimensional seal from breaking, and failing to do so will allow God to come to Earth. It seems like the seal that binds this God prevents it from traveling out of the moon, effectively sealing it. If it wasn't for Saitama's abrupt interruption, Garou would have easily broken this seal. Through this, we get to know more about what Blast is doing as well. It seems like one of the main objectives of the series is Guardians of the Galaxy, or rather Dimensions, is to prevent the dimensional seal that prevents beings like God from emerging. Perhaps the seal has grown weak over time, especially because of God's close proximity to Earth. This ties well with the speculations we made in our previous video where we discussed how Saitama broke his limiter and about God in detail. It seems like Saitama is destined to face God, which Blast isn't aware of. God has also witnessed all of this fight, as you can see the moon in the background at all times, meaning he knows what he's facing and must be preparing himself to face against the strongest man on Earth. So far, the manga went on its own for much of this anticipated fight, which is great. When the plane was sinking in page 15 of the chapter, we can see a dragon emerge from some sort of ruins that existed deep under the sea. This dragon is called the Cruel Dragon, and this beast was a part of the webcomic. In my opinion, the manga did a far better job at executing this fight. While witnessing Garou absolutely demolished all the S-class heroes in the webcomic was amazing, but this is far better. There's no reason left to compare the S-class heroes to Garou. He's completely above their league. Furthermore, the manga is building far more towards the God angle, unlike the webcomic which seemingly forgot about it. Even if God doesn't appear by the end of this arc, Garou's attack has to leave irreparable damage on the seal, making the atmosphere tenser. In the webcomic, Neo Association, a hero agency similar to the Hero Association, emerged. It claims to be the better agency and has been causing major problems for the Hero Association, as they're not only losing their monopoly but are in danger. This Neo Association was founded by Blue, Blast's son. The general public favors the Neo Association because they're more effective at their work, and people couldn't trust the Hero Association anymore after the City Z incidents. Now, Garou has taken this destruction to another level, as I mentioned, with massive earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, all this stuff going on. People are even more freaked out. Their trust in the Hero Association has plummeted even more. So the existence of another hero organization is far more important, especially if they manage to build a reputation at the start. Saitama in Garou's therapy session is bound to be amazing next chapter. This was literally the most unexpected thing ever. I bet we all laughed when Saitama said, "Let's go and sit in a broken ass house," but I never in my 7 lives would have expected them to be sitting in a parent failing son dynamic. You know, when you go to your dad, you're like, yeah, so I got an A minus. Please forgive me. But I genuinely can't stop laughing at how Garou in his godly monster form is looking all sad like a little puppy about to vent to Saitama about his frustrations of life and ghosts. This manga is too peak, bro. So basically, what we understand for the near future from this chapter is that God's seal is almost broken and it is near inevitable for Blast and the team to prevent the appearance of God. And Saitama is destined to face this God. Furthermore, it seems like the seal is irreparable, even with using those God cubes and dimensional powers. We'll make another video discussing the massive reveal of this chapter, so please make sure to hit that notification bell. In the meanwhile, check out our 2-part series about this character named God, as the series has made it clear he's coming sooner than later.